All right, barbecue family, so we've got a half of a pork butt from Butcher Box. It is almost 6 pounds. It's bone in. We're doing this hot and fast today, so we are going to try to keep the temperature between 325 and 350. Now in a drum smoker, your coals are at the bottom, so that's your heat source. So the heat source is at the bottom. So we're going to cook this pork butt fat side down. At least that's how we're going to start it. This is hot and fast. So I'm looking to get about 2 hours of good smoke on this pork butt before I wrap. First hour we're going to do fat side down, but then to try to even out the color, I'm going to follow Swine Life's suggestion of flipping the pork butt after the first hour so that the second hour it will cook fat side up. So let's get this pork butt on the smoker. So we're not going to worry about spritzing or anything. We're just going to let this go 1 hour, fat side down, and then I'll take a look and see how things are going for hour number 2 and decide whether or not to go ahead and flip it over. All right, barbecue family, the pork butt has been on the smoker for about an hour and 15 minutes. I have not taken a look at it. Oh man, but it smells great. So I'm guessing that it's going to look great. Let's take a peek. Ooh. Yeah, that looks really nice. So again, what I intended to do coming into this was to flip this over, getting a little dark right here on these edges, but that's okay. Hot and fast, so I guess I should have expected, to see some of that. But again, we're trying to get this pork butt done a little bit faster than the usual 9 to 10 hours when you go low and slow. So we're gonna flip this over, gonna get the fat side up to try to even out the coloring. And there you see on the fat side, some of that fat definitely got really dark, but I'm not concerned. I kind of just want to see how all of this plays out. So we got it flipped over, gonna let it go for about another hour, and that's when I will decide whether or not it's time to wrap. All right guys, the pork butt has been on the smoker now for a little bit over 2 hours, and in that time I also decided to add a couple of potatoes as well as a couple of sweet potatoes. So we might as well take advantage of that heat inside of the smoker, get those done as well. So right now I'm gonna check the internal temperature, and if it's in the 140 to 150 range, we're gonna go ahead and pull the pork butt off of the smoker and get it wrapped. All right, so we are actually at 134. So I'm gonna let this stay on to pick up some more smoke flavor before we wrap. So we'll check back, maybe give it another, I think I'll give it another 45 minutes or so and see where we are then. All right, we've been at it for about 3 hours and 15 minutes. Let's take a look at our internal temperature. All right, now we're at 152. So this is where I want it to be, 153 to wrap. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this pork butt off of the smoker. I'm gonna put it in an aluminum pan and then seal the top with aluminum foil. All right guys, the pork butt has been on the smoker for about 5.5 hours. Now I have to admit, I did have some trouble with the meter being inside of the foil and inside of the drum. So basically it lost the signal, but I was predicting that it would probably take me about 2 hours from the time that I wrapped this pork butt to get it into that 203, 205 range. So let's see where we are. Now remember, I did not add any liquid, did not spritz, didn't do anything extra to this pork butt, and you see there is a ton of liquid inside of this foil, inside of the aluminum pan. So once I got my signal back, the meter told me it was 208, and now I'm using my Inkbird. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it also is reading 208. So this pork butt is done, hot and fast, keeping that temperature in the 325 range. Able to get it done in 5.5 hours as opposed to the usual 9 or 10 when I do low and slow. All right guys, so the pork shoulder actually rested for about 2.5 hours in my Cambro. Let's take a look at what we got here.
All right, I want that piece. So I'm going there.
So Janine immediately violates the pitmaster's choice rule. It says the pitmaster gets the pick. She took what I selected for myself. But that's okay. I was trying to give you a little bit of the bark as well as, but that's all right. I'll try it.
I'll take a piece of the bark.
Yeah, because the bark is where the rub is.
Right. But see, I like to taste the meat first, so I kind of know how the meat tastes, and then I work my way outside.
Well, and then as I shred it, and I try to mix it all up, and then hopefully you end up getting some of both.
That's really good. The bark is like beyond delicious. Yeah.
So what do you like?
Really good.
What do you like about the bark flavor?
It's just so smooth but really flavorful. It's not too salty, but it's really got a lot of flavor. I just really liked it. Like when I put it in my mouth, it was like, ooh yeah, kind of like a little party. I just really like pork, and that whatever that seasoning is that you have on it's really good. It's nice and tender, and it's very moist. I kind of was a little concerned about the new process that you tried, and how it would compare to the old process, which took a lot longer, but it was so moist and juicy, and
I like it. I like both processes.
But I think if it can save you, 4 hours or more, then to me this is the way to go.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And because I think the end result is just as good, if not better.
I think it's a win. I think Janine agrees.
Absolutely.
Nothing lost in doing it hot and fast.
No, and the bark is delicious. So yeah,
the flavor is on point. So I'll definitely be keeping this process, this recipe is part of my arsenal. It might just end up being my go-to
I think so.
moving forward for pulled pork.
It's delicious.
All right, guys, so you know on my channel I love to try, there's just so many different processes out there for barbecue, and I like to try as many as I can. I just like to experiment. It just speaks to me. And most of the things that I've tried have worked out.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
So hope you guys got inspired by the video. Maybe you got some ideas. If you do pulled pork, what's your preference? Do you like to do hot and fast, or do you prefer low and slow? Have you tried both, or have you just gotten married to one way of doing it and sticking to it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, if you like the channel, you like what you see, and you want to see more videos, I'd appreciate it if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, leave comments. I always appreciate the support. Once again, this is Kenyatta Robinson with Janine Robinson. Thanks again for your support. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.